Man, Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev is finally going down this Saturday, and if you caught my video last Sunday, you would already know where I stand in this fight. I gave my honest opinion. I broke it all down, and yeah, I lean heavy on the idea that the grappling skill gap is going to be a major factor here. I'm talking big difference in that department. Now, if you want the full list of reasons why, I'm not going to rehash every single thing here. You can just go back and watch that video I uploaded last Sunday. But I will say this. The more I've been thinking about it, the more I want to keep it real and open about the other side of the coin. Because look, Dricus, for whatever reason, seems to have this weird plot armor in big fights. The guy just finds a way. It doesn't matter if the buildup makes him look outmatched. It doesn't matter if the odds are stacked. He'll take damage, he'll look tired, and somehow he'll just keep getting it done. And then suddenly he's the one walking out with his hand raised. And I don't get it, but it just happens. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still not changing my pick, not even a little bit. I still think the fight is going to play out how I originally said, but I also think it's fair to acknowledge that there are legit ways that Dricus can pull this off. So today I want to talk about that side of it today, how he could potentially beat Khamzat without me flip-flopping on my actual prediction. So let's just lock in on the grappling first. For a second, because honestly, that's where most people think that this fight lives or either dies. And yeah, I've said it before, the skill gap there is real. Khamzat's chain wrestling, his top pressure, the way he transitions, it's nasty. The man doesn't just shoot a takedown, he shoots like he's trying to take you through the mat and halfway into the parking lot. But here's the thing, man. Dricus isn't some lost puppy once his butt hits the canvas. He's not Kevin Holland just flip-flopping around and thinking, okay, let's see if I can bait a choke. Dricus actually knows what he's doing down there. He's got legit jiu-jitsu, he's been in pure grappling competitions, and he's got that kind of strength that can make a wrestler's life miserable. And that's the part I think a lot of people are sleeping on. Khamzat's used to feeling guys' will under him. You watch the Burns fight, the Usman fight, the moment he gets his hands clasped, you almost see the other guy's face go, oh crap, I don't think Dricus is going to give him that satisfaction. I think when Khamzat shoots, he's going to realize this isn't the same as muscling around a blown up welterweight. Now, I'm not saying that Dricus is going to go out there and run a grappling clinic. That would be ridiculous, but I do think he can do enough to slow Khamzat down. You know, break his posture, make him reset, get back to his feet when he can, force Khamzat to keep shooting and burning energy because Khamzat's whole game is built around that early dominance. If you take that away, he's not the same monster. And honestly, I wouldn't even be shocked if Dricus mixes in a little offensive wrestling of his own. Just imagine Khamzat's face if he gets a takedown early. That's like stealing the big bad wolf's teeth right in the middle of the fairy tale. Because here's the reality, dude. If Dricus can survive those first grappling exchanges, it changes everything. Khamzat's entire aura is built on that first takedown looking effortless. He shoots, you're down, you're stuck, and suddenly you're thinking, oh man, I'm not getting back up. But if Dricus fights through that, if he makes Khamzat chain wrestle, if he forces him to hit the mat, get back up, shoot again, and do it all over again, then those big explosive entries start slowing down. The grip strength starts fading, the scramblings don't come as fast, and that's where Dricus can start flipping the script. Now, instead of Khamzat dictating everything, you've got to make the fight very messy, exhausting, and physical in a way that he's not used to at middleweight. That's the kind of chaos Dricus thrives in. He's not a win every position type of fighter. He's a drag you in the mud and outlast you type. The other part that people are forgetting, the later the fight goes, the harder it is to hide fatigue in the grappling. You can fake fresh legs on the feet, but in the clinch or on the mat, there's nowhere to hide. If you're tired, you're getting bullied. And Dricus has shown over and over again that he can keep bullying deep in round 4 or 5. He'll keep pushing. So if I'm Dricus, I don't even care if I lose the first takedown or the first scramble. The goal is just to make Khamzat work for everything because the more you chip away at that gas tank, the less effective and dangerous those grappling exchanges become. And here's the part that nobody really wants to talk about enough. Surviving those first grappling exchanges isn't just about how strong your hips are or how good your cardio is. It's a straight up mind game. Khamzat's entire thing is built on breaking you early. He wants that first takedown to feel like you just got scooped by a forklift. He wants you to think, oh crap, I'm in here with a different breed. Most guys that give him that exact thing that he wants, they hit the mat feeling that squeeze, and mentally they check out. You can literally see it in their face like, yep, guess I'm down here for the rest of the round. And that's when Khamzat is in his happy place. That's where he's taking you to. That's when he's talking to you, talking to Dana, grinning up at the cameras while he's beating you up. And here's the best part, man. Dricus doesn't even have to win those grappling exchanges to win the mental battle. He just has to survive them. If he can make Khamzat realize in round 1, oh man, this ain't going to be one of those nights. Then all of a sudden, the fight looks way different and Khamzat pictured in his head. And that's the thing, man. Khamzat has never really had to deal with this exact type of problem at middleweight. Yeah, he fought at 185, but look at who he's been against. Gilbert Burns, welterweight moving up. Usman, another welterweight on short notice, coming off a head kick knockout, literally training on the couch 2 weeks before. Whitaker, great fighter, but walking into the cage with a jaw that was basically one bad squeeze away from a disaster. None of those guys had the combination that Dricus is bringing. The size, the strength, the stubbornness not to give up position. Khamzat's whole career, he's been the bigger, stronger dude. When he grabs you, you move whether you want to or not. This might be the first time in his UFC run where he grabs somebody and is like, huh? Why isn't this guy going anywhere? That's a different kind of fight. That's not, I'm in control from the jump. That's, oh crap, this guy's not small enough for me just to toss around. And he's not scared enough to give me an easy position. And for someone who's built his entire identity on running through people like a video game boss, that's the first crack in the armor. It's the same thing in sparring. You can be the killer in the room for years, but the first time you go in there with someone who doesn't react to your A game the way everyone else does, it messes with your head. Dricus has the chance to be that guy for Khamzat on fight night. The first opponent who makes him realize, oh, this might be a long night, and I might not like how it ends. And here's where it gets really ugly for Khamzat. The grappling fatigue is a whole different beast than striking fatigue. When you're striking, you're tired, you can fake it for a bit, you can bounce a little, throw a jab here and there, give the judges something to look at. But in grappling, nah, there's nowhere you can hide, dude. If you're tired, it shows in every grip, every shot, every scramble. Khamzat's game is built on explosion. Those big blast doubles, those high lift, those chain wrestling sequences where he can just melt through your defense. All of that runs off a gas tank, and that burns hot. And the thing about burning hot, it burns fast. If the guy on the other side refuses to break, that's where Dricus comes in. He's the dude who will make you carry his weight against the cage, dig underhooks, fight every single inch like it's the last point in a wrestling match. Even if Khamzat gets him down, he's not gonna lay there. He's gonna frame, build a base, make Khamzat reshoot, make him reclaim, make him keep working. And every time you have to redo a position, you thought you already won. It's like a little drain on your battery. People forget Khamzat's cardio issue aren't just about being out of shape, they're about how he fights. He goes full throttle in those early minutes, and if he forces to keep that pace without getting finished, things start to unravel. And once those takedowns lose their snap, they turn into slow, grindy attempts. And that's when Dricus can start bullying back. Listen, man, by round 3, if this goes the way Dricus needs it to, Khamzat's gonna feel it like he's trying to wrestle in a swimming pool. Heavy, slow, and wondering where all that early fire went. And once a guy like Dricus smells the fatigue, it's not a maybe I could take over situation. It's now, I'm gonna make this hurt. And honestly, the clinch might be the sneakiest weapon that Dricus has in the entire fight, because in the clinch isn't just stalling or catching your breath. It's about making the other guy work when he doesn't want to. And you can gas a wrestler in the clinch way faster than people think if you know how to make him miserable. And here's the thing, man. Khamzat is used to being the guy who dictates the clinch. He's the one pressing you, pinning you, locking hands, lifting you clean off your feet. But against someone his own size with real strength, those lifts don't come easy. And if Dricus can flip him, push him to the cage, and just start leaning, I'm talking shoulder in the chin, forearm grinding across the neck, consistently pummeling for underhooks, it's gonna feel like he's carrying a backpack made out of muscle. It's not flashy, it's not gonna get the crowd screaming, but every second you make a guy like Khamzat carry your weight is the money in the bank for later rounds. And Dricus doesn't even have to be active looking for a takedown in the clinch. He can just be mean, short elbows, knees to the thighs, make it ugly, make it uncomfortable. And here's the kicker. If Dricus can make Khamzat start thinking, man, I don't like being here, then guess what? He's already winning, because now Khamzat has decided to, does he burn more energy to get out, or does he hang out in a position where he's not in control? Either choice is bad when you're fighting a guy who gets stronger as the fight goes. The clinch is where you can quietly break a guy without the crowd even realizing it's happening. And if Dricus can spend even a couple of minutes each round, it's gonna pay off huge once we get into the deeper rounds, round 3, 4, and 5. So when you zoom out and look at the whole thing, the grappling in Dricus versus Khamzat isn't just, can Khamzat take him down or not? It's a full-on chess match with a gas tank timer ticking in the background. early on, yeah, Khamzat's going to be dangerous. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be explosive. And if he can get deep on those legs, there's a good chance he's dumping Dricus on his back. That's the phase of the fight where Khamzat is king. When everything's sharp and fast, and he can chain move together before you even think about defending the first one. But the longer it goes, the more it turns into a game of inches. Dricus doesn't need to stuff every takedown clean. He just needs to make Khamzat work for all of them. Fight every grip, stand up every time he gets grounded, force reshots, grind him into the clinch, make him feel like every position is a war zone instead of a free ride. Because here's the truth, man, if we hit round 3 and Khamzat hasn't broken Dricus yet, the fight is gonna flip. All that early explosion gets replaced with a slower, heavier shot. Those body locks don't have the same pop. And suddenly, the guy who is controlling you is leaning on the fence, breathing heavy and reacting instead of initiating. That's the version of this fight where Dricus starts taking over. Not by out-techniquing Khamzat in pure wrestling, that's not his game, but by outlasting him, outworking him, and dragging him into those ugly, exhausting exchanges where being the better wrestler on paper doesn't mean anything anymore. So for me personally, the grappling isn't about can Dricus out-wrestle Khamzat. It's about can Dricus survive long enough to make Khamzat's wrestling stop being scary. And if the answer is yes, then suddenly this fight starts looking a lot more like a Dricus special, messy, chaotic, and ending with him finding a way to win when everyone's counting him out. And look, everything I just laid out, those are all the ways that Dricus could potentially survive and flip this entire thing. There's a real path. They're not fantasy. What if he lands a spinning wheel kick in the first 10 seconds type of stuff, okay? These are actual scenarios where the fight can get ugly, where Khamzat slows down and Dricus just does what Dricus always seems to do, find a way. But I'm still not picking him. I'm going to go with my safe bet here, and the safe bet to me is Khamzat doing what he does best, hitting that takedown early, getting top control, and stacking up minutes while Dricus is trying to work back up, and I think Khamzat's going to finish him in the first round. I think that the skill gap in the grappling is just too much to ignore. And if Dricus somehow wins, fuck it, man. Screw it. I'll take the L. I'll take the discredit. I'll let you guys roast me in the comments. But until I see somebody actually survive the first round with Khamzat Storm at middleweight, I'm not going to pretend I'm brave enough to call it.